Hello everybody, and welcome to my channel. I go by Red Cuisine, and if you're looking for an in-depth guide to the forces and Zenonzard, then stay tuned and I'll have that coming right up for you. So let's get right to it. What is a force? The forces are the two objects you choose when building your deck. They all have powerful skills. Your choice of forces could change your deck and strategy completely. For instance, when deck building, you can choose forces to build your deck around or use them to complement a strategy that you want. Force also affects your life total, since each force has their own life points. When your force's life hits 0, they're destroyed and they lose their effects. Additionally, the points of the force are reduced from your original life count of 12. So when you're building your deck, you start with 12 life, and the life of the forces that you choose are deducted from the 12. Also, every force has an effect when it's destroyed, that you search a deck for a base minion and put it into play and you draw a card. So now let's get into what each of the forces do. So the first one is the Force of Fusion Chimera. It's a 3 health force, and during your turn, you can use neutral mana as mana of any color to summon field minions. Now, when would you want to use this? Well, you want to use it if you need to fix your colors, or if you need to get out a minion early that you might not have the colors for. You'll mostly find Chimera in multicolor decks or ramp decks. And it's a multicolor deck. It's usually going to be an aggressive deck with a lot of low cost minions so that you don't have to draw the base minion for them. If you don't use a lot of base minions, or you can't count on drawing them, then you probably want to use that Chimera force. Next is the Force of Sanctity Sphinx. This one has 3 health and it has the effect on your opponent's turn. Your minions with the cost of 5 or lower can't be selected as targets for the effects of your opponent's minions that are on the field. So you do want to use this force if you have certain minions you want to protect, or if you want to include the Holly Draw England in your deck. As you can see here, Holy Knight of Sanctity has a really good effect. At the end of your turn, you get to draw a card. So if you need a little more card draw in your deck, then you can use the Sphinx force and include Holy in your deck. You'll typically find the Sphinx force in combo decks or mid-range decks, since you need to protect your field minions, or you can get more value by having your minions unable to be targeted by your opponent's minions. Next is Force of Ascension Pegasus. This one's got 3 health, and if you have 4 more mana, your movement is increased by 1 at the start of your turn. You can use this to increase your mana acceleration, to go aggressive with base minions, or to make movement skills easier to manage. As you can see here, Flight Knight of Ascension takes full advantage of what Pegasus gives you. And since movement is one of the things you really need to master in this game, having an additional movement can be really strong. You can find this force used in Merfolk aggro decks, some green ramp decks, and decks that use the Arcas Demigod. When he retreats to the base, you can summon a 6 cost field minion from your hand. And if you get 2 moves per turn, then you can really do a lot of cool stuff with that combo. Next up is Force of Sin Cyclops. This is probably the simplest one. It's got 2 health, and all your minions gain 100 battle power for the duration of your turn. Now, the way that this game is balanced, most minions with the same cost will have around the same power. So a 2 cost will have about 300, a 4 cost will have 400, 500 power. Well, this force just makes all of your minions stronger than your opponents on your turn. So you can just win battles easily. You can win the minion exchange, and you can buff your weaker minions to make them more formidable. This one doesn't have a lot of decks it's useful in, mostly aggro decks, but the effect is still really powerful. Next is Force of Insight Chiron. This one has 4 health, and it reduces the basic cost of magic cards in your hand by 2. And you're going to use this to make magic easier to use. You can find it in Village Girl ramp decks, Red Blue Spellgazer decks, or any deck that has a lot of magic and needs to take advantage of the reduced cost. Now we have Force of Harmony, Orthrus. It has 3 health, and all of your minions with a cost of 5 or higher gain +1 DP. This is pretty much just to make your big minions bigger, and you can find this one in mid-range and ramp decks to make their bigger minions a lot more threatening since they're coming out so early. You can use it in the Twyn and Swift Fleet combo deck. As you can see here, Twyn Knight of Harmony only costs 3 and has 2 DP if you have the Orthos force, and that's really powerful. And decks that take advantage of Pierce, Infiltrate, and Unblockable minions can take advantage of Orthos too. Since your opponent won't be able to block them as easy, they'll be taking more damage if you decide to use this force. Next is Force of Eternity or Boros. This one has 2 health, and all of your minions that are not tokens return to the active state at the end of your turn. This one's really good since you can only block if your minion is in active mode, meaning if you attack with it, you usually can't block with it. But if you decide to use this force, then it allows you to attack while still being able to defend, and you can bully your opponent with high BP minions. Normally when you summon a high BP minion, you might not want to attack with it because you'll need to block with it next turn. But if you use this force, then that allows you to attack with that minion and still be able to block with it next turn. And you can find this one in a lot of aggro and mid-range decks, and this is really good in purple force kill decks. Since they have minions that have effects on death, you're going to want to attack with them and still be able to block with them to get a lot of value out of them. Next is the Force of Triumph Minotaur. This one's got 4 health, and the DP damage dealt to your life by minions is reduced by 1. This pretty much invalidates aggro decks since they have to destroy this force first before they can really make use of their weaker minions. This also prevents you from losing as easily if you were to go all in with your minions and not have any defense. And you can also use it to stall until late game if you need to. You can find it in green ramp decks and typically in mono white forces deck. And last but not least, Force of Rebirth Phoenix. This one has 3 health and all of your mana return to the active state at the end of your turn. This is probably the most powerful force, and you'll see it everywhere. It's extremely versatile, it facilitates flash magic and swoop strategies, and allows you to use all your mana on both players' turn. You can find it in flash magic based decks, yellow swoop decks, or aggro, midrange, and control decks. This force can pretty much be used in any deck since its effect is so good. It has synergy with other forces as well to make very powerful decks. Thanks for watching. Click here for my next video, or click here for a playlist, and like, comment, and subscribe for more content.